From the top lecture notes. Okay. Okay. The Tic-Tac-Toe component class extends JComponent, which means it's a custom swing component used to represent the Tic-Tac-Toe board visually. Let's break down the important parts of this class. Instance variables. Board represents the tic-tac-toe game board, which is in the size 400 by 500. Square dim, which is the dimension of each square on the board, which is 100 by 100. The left pad, padding to the left of the board, which is set to 30, and the top pad, padding above the board, which is set to 50. The mark pad, which is the padding around each mark X or O within a square, is 10. Constructor initializes the instance variables of the component. paintComponent method overrides the paintComponent method to customize the rendering of the component, draws the tic-tac-toe grid and marks X or O on the board using graphics 2D objects. The grid is drawn using line 2D double objects to create the lines representing the rows and columns of the tic-tac-toe grid. Marks X or O are drawn using draw mark method, which creates either a cross or a circle, line 2D double for X and ellipse 2D double for O. Draw mark method draws the mark X or O at a specified position on the board. If the mark is X, TicTacToeBoard X mark, it draws two diagonal lines to form a cross. If the mark is O, it draws an ellipse to represent a circle. Overall, TicTacToe component is responsible for visually rendering the tic-tac-toe game board, including the grid and marks, using swing graphics primitives, graphics 2D objects. Notes about y plus 1 when moved to the next x left. Integer x left equals left pad plus the square dimension plus 1. Integer x right equals x left plus square dim plus 1. Integer y top equals top pad plus square dim plus 1. Integer y bottom equals y top plus square dim plus 1. Integer height is 3 times square dim plus 1. Integer width is 3 times square dim plus 1. Adding 1 to the location serves a couple of purposes in this context. Visual separation of grid lines. By adding 1 to the coordinates x left, x right, y top, and y bottom, it ensures that there is a small gap between each line. This gap helps visually separate the grid lines, making it easier for users to distinguish between individual squares on the tic-tac-toe board. Preventing overlapping lines. Adding 1 ensures that the lines drawn for the tic-tac-toe grid do not overlap with each other. Without this addition, lines drawn side by side might overlap slightly due to how graphics rendering works, potentially causing visual artifacts or confusion in the appearance of the grid. Overall, the addition of 1 to the coordinates help in creating a visually appealing and clear representation of the tic-tac-toe grid on the GUI component.